Get ready for another helpful conversation. On today's episode, I sat down in person with Mary Liz Curtin with Leon and Lulu. I met Mary Liz a couple of years ago. We both sit on the board of directors for Heart on Main Street. And when I first met Mary Liz, I was like, how do I not know her already? She's got so many incredible things going on. She's very integrated into the retail industry. She's a speaker, an author, a very successful retailer, has been doing retail her whole life. And I am so happy to have her on our show today so you can learn from her because I got to tell you, I mean, we are talking about knowing your customer and events. She's doing some really cool events and she's got interesting angles on getting people there and filling the events. And then also, towards the end of today's episode, Mary Liz talks about pricing, like really important tips for pricing your products and actually making a profit and making money. So listen to this entire episode. Also, I really loved Mary Liz, her answer to my question in the resilience round. If you had to start your business all over again, what's one thing you'd do different? I love her answer. I think it's something that all of my listeners, if you did this one thing, it could be a game changer for your business. It's actually something that's mentioned on next week's episode that's coming out. I mean, it's just a really powerful thing that I think retailers could do on a lot of different levels that will help you in your business as well as even just emotionally and to look back. So a little mystery to get you to listen to this whole episode. It's so good. So a little bit more about my guest. Mary Liz Curtin has been doing retail since she was a baby, as you're going to hear in today's episode. She's a well-known speaker and author of A Shopkeeper's Manual and the co-owner with her husband of Leon and Lulu and Three Cats Restaurant. They've got a lot going on, some really cool stuff. Go check out their store. You can check them out on Instagram. They're Leon and Lulu, Leon, and Lulu, Lulu, and leonandlulu.com. I know you're going to get a lot out of today's episode, so let's dive in. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Crystal Vilkaitis, the Wolf of Main Street, and this is Rooted in Retail. Mary Liz, welcome to Rooted in Retail. I'm thrilled to have you.
Crystal, it's so exciting to be here and to be right here in Javits Center.
I know.
Did you know, interesting fact, I showed when I worked for Mrs. Grossman's Paper Company at the first trade show in this building.
Really?
Yes, it was 180 years ago.
180 years ago.
Roughly.
You are looking amazing for 180 years. Oh my God, I love it. I know. I'm so happy we're in person. We are here. If you're watching this, we're at New York Now at the gift show. If you are a gift store, you got to check out New York Now, nynow.com. It's so nice to sit down in person. Mary Liz, you've got some really cool things going on that we're going to talk about. But first, tell us a little bit about your retail journey.
Well, my mother's an interior designer. I learned to walk at the Merchandise Mart.
Wow.
In Chicago, of course, the only one. And I grew up in retail. And after college, I worked on the road. I was a sales rep. I was a sales manager. And eventually I was sales manager for Mrs. Grossman's Paper Company, director of sales and marketing, and that's where I met my husband, who was account number 10,000 for Mrs. Grossman's.
Whoa, wow.
There you go. We got married, and he had a store in Michigan, so I moved to Michigan. And almost 20 years ago, we opened Leon Lulu, which is in a former roller skating rink. My husband and I have been partners ever since. And after 19 years in retail, we are still married.
Yeah, that's huge.
I thought so.
We almost need to do like a personal episode on on like marriage tips.
Well, we had the wall. I was the front boss, he was the back boss.
Yeah.
So we had a real clear
Nice. Yeah, boundaries, expectations. Yep, and a wall. That's good. Okay, so roller skate, I really recommend anybody that is listening to this to go check you out, your website, your Instagram, because you just have such a unique building for your store, which is so cool. And you have a restaurant, you've got the store, it's in this vintage roller skating rink, and there's a movie theater.
Well, the restaurant is in the movie theater.
Okay, restaurant's in the movie theater. Okay, so cool. I have to come see this store. It sounds awesome. So what role does storytelling and atmosphere play in creating a destination retail experience?
Well, you know, shopping is a social activity. Mm-hmm. If you have to go and buy eggs, which you better buy this week before they get really high.
No kidding.
If you have to go buy eggs, it's not so much of a social activity, but it kind of is because you get to say hello to people. But when you are shopping for a birthday gift or looking for a dress to wear to a wedding, you want input, you want to talk to other people, and you want to have a good time. And I think this is where many of our larger merchants are falling down because it's not fun to go to a lot of their stores.
No.
So at Leon Lulu, when you come in, you're in the roller skating rink, somebody says hello. We used to offer coffee and hot cookies till the health department told us we were in a restaurant, which is shocking.
Oh.
But we do everything we can for our customers, and our success rate is not based on closures or dollars per customer or any of that stuff. We base everything on the customer leaving happy. If she leaves smiling, with or without a bag, we've done our job.
Yes.
We want people to come and enjoy it. Our society is becoming increasingly lonely.
Yeah.
People are spending too much time communicating only online, doing too much stuff with strangers, going down those many rabbit holes.
So true.
This is the anti-rabbit hole, is going to a retail store and having a very, very good time.
Yeah.
And it's the same when you go to a family-owned restaurant and somebody talks to you and you get to know Joe, who knows you like your eggs poached hard.
Right.
All that kind of thing is part of the fabric of society that we are losing a little bit.
I know we are. I so agree. We want connection. We want something to go do. We don't want to be scrolling on our screens all the time.
Absolutely.
Like, that's not what we want. And I love the word that you use of input. We do. I need you to tell me, like, is this a great jacket?
If your ass looks big in that dress, I am going to tell you.
Yes. I love it. We need the honesty. But also just like it can be so intimidating. You want to find the perfect gift or you're stressed, like your last minute. I mean, all those things, we need the input. So it's so incredible.
And it's not just the input. Sometimes you just need to go out and go shopping.
Yeah.
And look around and look for new things and just have fun and not think too much. And a great store is a perfect place for that.
Yep. I couldn't agree more. Now, you've mastered the art of keeping customers entertained while they shop. What are some of the most creative or unexpected ways you've made shopping more fun and engaging?
Well, we started out with little kids who skated around, 13, 14-year-old girls who skated around serving coffee and cookies.
Cool.
Unfortunately, since we're in the roller skating rink, there was nowhere for new little girls to learn how to skate. So our skating thing is over. But we still do a lot of special events. At Christmas time, we have kids who demonstrate toys, who stand in the back and make things fly and bounce and create chaos in general.
Yeah.
We have a lot of special events. We do girls' nights out. Twice a year we do a major fashion show, and the models are our very own customers. So we have short ones, tall ones, fat ones, skinny ones, but they're real women.
Yeah.
And we have a runway, we have music, we have the whole thing. People absolutely love it.
Yeah.
We do educational stuff like how to pack. I can go to Europe for 2 weeks on one suitcase without checking it.
Really?
I can't come home with one suitcase.
No.
But I can travel around with
get
one.
There. That's impressive.
So we show people how to pack and what to do and how to think about going places.
Yeah.
We love special events. And we do 4 times a year, we do an artist market where we have it's a juried art show. We'll have 20 to 30 local craftspeople showing their work in the store on top of everything else.
Very cool.
And it's a great way to help foster new talent,
Yeah.
to find us new vendors, but also a way for us to get back to the community and let them see what their friends are making.
Yeah, exactly. And invite them in. I love that. Okay. And I love how you said that we're using our customers, real people, all shapes and sizes. That's something I noticed on your website is you see the customers shopping at the different parts of the store where you're telling these stories and connecting to them so they see themselves in it. And I think that that's so critical as a retailer that we have to have that relatability and see ourselves in it. And so you're doing that with your fashion shows, you're doing that with your social and your site. So awesome job.
And we do it with our design team too. If you want to come in 100 times to talk about what to do with your living room, we will listen to you 100 times.
Yeah.
Never a problem. There's an interaction that is not based on sales. And I find if sales is not your primary goal, if charity and being good to your customers and having a great atmosphere is what you're going for, the sales just naturally follow because people want to be part of it.
They do. Yeah, we got to focus on the right things doing retail.
And paying the bills. I mean, you do want to pay the bills.
You do have to pay the bills, yes. Now, you were talking a lot about these special events and how it's such a game changer for you, but also for our independent retailers. I feel like that's like an aspect where we just need to be creating experiences. So what are the key ingredients of a successful in-store event, and how do you get customers excited to attend?
Okay, the number one ingredient is making sure you have enough people coming.
Yes.
If you have an event and nobody shows up, that can be really a downer.
Yes.
So you need to put it together and make sure, first of all, it's something they care about. Does your customer want to come to this? Is it going to be fun for her? Is she going to learn something? What's the goal from her point of view? The goal is not how many of these cookies can I sell? It's what can she learn to do? How can she throw a party with the cookies? What does she serve them with? How does she make the right tea to go with them and tell a whole story? That's number one. We often involve local charities. So we'll do something for a PTA. In fact, when we opened the store and had no money, when all the merchandise came in, we had a deal with the PTA at the kids' school that they could come and help us unpack and shelve things. And we would pay $10. Okay, this is a long time ago. I just want to be clear. $10 an hour to the PTA for freight help.
Wow.
And we had doctors and lawyers and like phenomenal mothers and fathers in unpacking the whole store and getting us all set up.
Oh my God, that's cool.
But that was a way for us to give back to the community. And we got good press for that for a long time.
I bet. Yeah. And they're getting in the store. Like they're a part of the store. Like there's just deeper connection.
One of them got mad at me when I moved one of her displays.
Oh no. Like, well, this is my store. I see it. I see the vision here. That's very cool. Yeah. So you've got to get people there. What do you feel like has been one of the best ways you've gotten people to your events?
Absolutely 100% our email marketing.
Okay.
For many, many years, when I talk to retailers about what's the best form of advertising, direct mail to your existing customer base has always been number one.
Okay.
Email marketing is nothing other than direct mail to your customer base.
Right.
And you're talking to somebody who already knows you, probably likes you or they would have dropped out.
Yep.
Or it's another store and they just want to know what you're doing.
Right.
But it keeps you in touch with your customers. So we email at least once, we shoot for once a week. At Christmas, of course, would become annoying.
Yeah.
But again, we don't just email. We don't do that worst thing was, hey, watch out, we're sending you an email next week. Leave me alone.
No.
We try always to have something to say, and we try to segment our emails carefully.
Good.
So if we get a new line in, we will send an email only to the customers who buy that type of product or that specific line. If Nora Fleming drops a new collection, we send that to all of our Nora customers. So we're not wasting our valuable bandwidth, as they say, on things that people don't want to know about.
Exactly, because that's where you will get the unsubscribe. They stop opening. You're not relevant to me.
Yeah.
So many retailers that I talk to are not segmenting. Number one, I feel like that's a little bit more advanced. They're not doing it, which is such a missed opportunity. Like if anybody's listening to this right now, segment your emails.
If you can figure out how to make your point of sale system do it, and almost every point of sale system that exists can tell you who bought from this vendor. We do a special event where we sell samples from one of our clothing vendors.
Okay.
And we'll get like 6 racks of samples. They're all size small. So we send only to our clothing customers who wear a size small, because we don't want to ask the size extra larges to come and not be able to get anything.
Yeah.
To announce that we're doing it. That is 100% doable for almost anybody and worth the time to figure out.
With their POS. What POS do you use?
Well, that's an interesting question. I was afraid you were going to ask it.
Okay.
We use a point of sale system that we bought 20 years ago.
Okay.
And it's no longer acknowledged by its maker.
Got it. Okay.
It is kind of a brick, but we continue to use it and it's been tremendous.
Yeah.
My son does all of our IT and he's found somebody who loves this program, but we're very happy with it and we paid for it.
Okay.
We own it.
Okay, that's nice. That helps. Yeah. Because you're not dealing with, I know that's such a hard struggle for our retailers with POS.
It's a huge struggle. And when you're shopping for one, be sure you talk to real users of it, not just to the person who's selling it to you.
Excellent point. Yeah.
Because the learning curve can be pretty
It can be
staggering.
And even asking those questions like, with your POS, can I send to the ladies that buy small, sizes small, and really segment my
And can I
list
integrate it with my contact management software?
Yeah.
We use Constant Contact and have for many years. We can download all of our contacts directly from the point of sale system into Constant Contact, so it's really easy.
Awesome.
And we have about 40,000 names on our mailing list, so we
Nice, Mary Liz. That's
need
awesome.
something that's easy to manipulate.
Yeah. Now, is your son running that for you, the email marketing?
He does not do the marketing, but when it doesn't work, we have 2 vintage buildings and a warehouse.
Okay.
And several delivery trucks. He does all of our facilities maintenance.
Wow,
make sure that it gets fixed. He does our IT, both hardware and software, and then he just troubleshoots. We just turned him into a payroll clerk.
Okay.
Because there's nothing like rewarding good behavior by giving him payroll.
Yeah, oh, yeah, look at that. You lucky dog.
But my daughter, who is a performer, she's a
yeah.
clown, actually. She's a roller skating, fire spinning, rope twirling, lasso twirling, juggling, stilt walking clown. She has always done special events in the store and in the restaurant, but she also is now doing a lot more of our Instagram and our stories. And she's been really, really good at spending more time on them than I have.
Yeah, it's important. It's a great way to get the word out.
But we also have a marketing manager whose job is just communicating with the customers and making sure that they know everything that's coming up and managing it.
Has that direct channel. Love it.
Okay, retailers, if you are looking for the best brands in gift, home, fashion, and lifestyle, then listen up. You just got to have a sales agency that gets your business and gets your store. And that is exactly what Just Gotta Have It is all about. I have worked with them for over a decade, and I am constantly hearing retailers who love Just Gotta Have It, love the brands. In fact, just a couple months ago, I was with a retailer at Market who said, Just Gotta Have It is my favorite agency. I love the reps. I love the lines. So if you haven't checked them out yet, you're going to want to be sure that you do. You can go to justgottohaveit.com. That's the number 2, justgottohaveit.com. They also have showrooms in Vegas and Atlanta. So be sure to check out their showrooms if you attend those markets. This is really where inspiration meets opportunity. They also show at New York Now too. So go online, shop online, connect with the local rep. Their reps are like a brand concierge. They're really there to help support your store. In fact, I actually went on a cruise ship with Just Gotta Have It and their reps, teaching them AI so they can understand this technology to better support their retailers. So they're invested in your success. Plus, they've got some of the top lines. Go check them out at justgottahaveit.com. And let's get back to today's episode.
I know, I've heard about these party. I almost want like your events. I think of it as a party in my head with your daughter who is on stilts and doing like such cool things. Like, it's so fun.
Oh, we just had a line dancing party in the restaurant last week. We've got a voodoo party coming up for Mardi Gras in a couple of weeks. And my daughter has a gig in San Francisco, so she cannot perform as the Easter Rabbit this year.
Oh.
So we have another boy Easter Rabbit who smokes a carrot, much like a cigar.
Oh, man.
Which will be a real change of pace in the Easter business.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh, that's so good. You're just in tune. Like, I feel like you're just keeping up. You're putting in the work with these events, making retail fun and engaging and entertaining, which our customers so
And the other
want.
thing that nobody mentions about events is every time you're about to have a giant event, you clean the store. You get it all organized and straightened up. So it's like having a party at your house. All the things you've been putting off, you kind of take care of them before an event starts.
Yep, you do. And that could get overlooked, I'm sure. There's a million pieces.
Of course.
Yeah, but good advice. Sometimes we just got to be brilliant at the basics, and that's one of those basic things. Okay, now, we do have listeners who don't have a store yet, but they're thinking about starting a store. Or we've got retailers who it's always been my dream, and now I have my store. And so sometimes it can be hard to know what it really takes to be successful. Like, retail is a tough industry to be in. So
if you're starting your business plan with, I think it'd be really fun to have a store, don't do it.
Okay.
I used to give the opening address at the Craft and Hobby Show for new people, and I'd always start it with, if you're going into this store because you love scrapbooking or knitting or crocheting or pottery, you have to understand you're going to learn a new craft, which is shopkeeping, which is going to mean you have no time for pottery or scrapbooking or any of the rest of it.
Exactly.
You have to have a firm financial footing. You have to do a business plan so you really know what your plan is and where you're going to go. I recommend to my clients that they do a business plan where this is what I think I'm actually going to do. This is what I would do if I were a flop, and worse, maybe. This is what I would do if I were a giant success.
Right.
Run the numbers in all ways. If you have a great day, it's going to sell all your inventory.
Yeah.
You need to know you have enough inventory.
Yeah.
Many people open a store, and even if they sold everything in the store, they couldn't possibly make their rent.
Yeah.
My husband learned a lot from Gift and Deck when he opened about 100,000 years ago, and he realized that he indeed did not have enough inventory to run his first store.
Yep.
Although he ran his store successfully for 26 years.
Okay. Well, and that's the thing, you know, a lot of us are just figuring it out for sure. But when we have these foundational things in place, I love the idea of having your plan. It's sort of like the plan A, B, and C.
Exactly.
You know, like being really set up for success. And what does that look like? I think when you walk through that of what if we were the most successful that I can imagine right now?
Can you get more goods?
Yeah.
Exactly. Are you buying from vendors who allow you to restock in a timely fashion?
Yeah.
That's if you're running it tight, which we all are. I also recommend as you're starting your business to buy more from fewer vendors.
Okay.
Don't try to cherry pick every vendor and buy 3 of this thing and 3 of this thing, because it's going to look like vegetable soup. You want enough to make a statement and tell a story. And as you're buying, you have to think about how you're going to display it and what you're going to do with it.
Okay.
And then we come to that most marvelous, magical word, which is margin.
Uh-huh.
And if you don't understand your margins, don't be in retail.
Right.
And the first most important word to lose is the word keystone.
Okay.
No retailer can make it on a keystone markup. If you're buying it for $1 and selling it for $2, disaster.
Okay.
The freight costs have gone up. There are often surprises like, for instance, tariffs or who knows what that are going to affect your bottom line. Anyway, margins are really, really important.
Critical.
And I recommend a 2.3 to 2.5 margin in general,
Okay.
at least in your store. But always look for something that you can buy for $1 and sell it for 12. Which brings me to one more really good thing.
Okay.
Sometimes just look at something. Don't look at this and say, I spent $10 for this, so I'm going to sell it for 20. Take a look at it and go, this is a $30 thermos.
Yeah.
Who cares what I paid for it? Because quite often you can undermark things if you're getting stuff at a really good buy.
Yeah.
I put it
really
back
pay
correctly.
attention. Yeah, exactly. I know, exactly. But it's so true. I think that it's not just the math all the time, right? It's not just pure math
No,
that
it's
I
not.
just plug this in, I'm going to double this. Keystone is typically 2.3. Is that what?
Keystone is 2 point nothing.
Oh, it's just two.
So often
oh.
you'll go to a show and somebody will say, well, I say, how much is this? They'll say it's $15. And I say, is that retail? Yeah. Well, I'd like to buy it wholesale because I am at a wholesale trade show.
Right.
You know, we cheat sometimes. We'll buy
Yeah.
something with a low margin because we think it'll really thrill our customers, and
True.
that's a marketing decision.
Right.
But as a basic thing, good wholesale vendors will tell people where they can get the margin that they need.
Yep. Great advice.
I get a little dramatic about that.
Well, but I think it's so important, especially when we're talking about money and inventory. Like, it's just critical. That's where a lot of retailers don't make it.
The other thing, I wrote a column for Giftware News for a long time called Penny Pinching Retailer.
Oh.
And it was all about ways to save money and to think about how you're spending on things. You have to be so careful because those pennies add up. And if
Yes.
you all of a sudden need a new carpet, or you see a new line that you really want to buy and you need a couple $1,000s, you need that cash available.
Yep.
But you can't fritter it away. So you have to be sure you're buying all of your supplies economically. If your vendor has a freight deal or some kind of a thing, always strive to hit the best terms from your vendor.
Okay.
Think of every way you can squeeze those dimes out and put them in a little pile for later.
Yes, no kidding. Saving money is making money, and is
Absolutely.
any way that we can
Absolutely.
save. Yeah, for sure. Now, you've been in retail since you were a baby. What is one timeless lesson that still holds true no matter how much the industry changes?
I think that Marshall Field said it absolutely the best. Give the lady what she wants. And the whole trick is to figure out, what does the lady want?
Yep.
But that's the whole story, is you want to think, what does she want when she walks in my store? How can I make her laugh? How can I make her smile? How can I make her go home with a bag she can't wait to open? That's all there is to it.
Yeah, so good. Mary Liz, are you ready for the resilience round?
Of course I am.
All right, best business book.
Well, mine. A Shopkeeper's Handbook.
Yes, awesome. I need to read this.
I'll send
book.
you one.
Okay, that would be great. You'll sign it? Will you
Yeah.
sign it? Yeah. Best retail technology, like an app or software.
A good point of sale system is absolutely key. And I will let you know what the one is that I would buy if I had to buy it again, which is based off the one that I have now.
Okay, great.
But we also find QuickBooks to be incredibly helpful for managing our money.
Yeah.
And we find that Constant Contact, or a program similar to that, is absolutely invaluable for maintaining our contacts with our customers.
So true. Awesome. Couldn't agree more. How do you keep up with the ever-changing retail landscape?
You just keep looking and thinking and doing the best that you can, and you ignore half of it. Because it doesn't matter what Target does, it doesn't matter what the little store down the street does, it only matters what Leon and Lulu does, and we do the best that we can. And sometimes we willfully fly in the face of all the trends, and other times we see a trend that we have to jump on. But remember, the trend is not a mandate, it's just what other people are doing.
Well said. To help retailers be stronger, more rooted in success, what's a community engagement foundational best practice?
Well, for instance, we give something to every single charity auction or raffle or any of that kind of stuff, and it's very much appreciated. I sometimes buy things specifically that I
cool.
plan to give away.
Yeah.
Anything you can do to support your community is terrific. The thing to watch out for is having a special event for somebody who doesn't promote it correctly and doesn't populate it, because a special event with nobody there doesn't make anybody any money. We love doing giving Saturdays where we give 10% of our sales to somebody on that Saturday.
Oh, cool.
But we want to see that they've brought people in that we might not have otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. Very true. If you had to start your business all over again, what's one thing you'd do differently?
I would put more outlets in the store, every single place.
Okay.
I would have supported the drywall better than my husband did when he drywalled we have some trouble hanging stuff. And the biggest one is I would have started to keep a diary.
Oh.
And written in the diary the interesting things that have happened. And our manager, Julie Yankel, is very good about, she can say, well, yeah, we're way up this year against last year because there was a snowstorm and closed at 2:00. I would keep a diary that had interesting things that happened,
Yes.
things to remember for next year, and weather notes and that kind of stuff.
Excellent. I'm so glad you said that. Like, I'm sure listeners right now are like,
I'd be
that's
gladder
so
if
really-
I were telling you about the diary. I'd been
I
keeping
know.
what a good job I did because
Wouldn't
I'd have
that be
another book.
amazing? You would. Oh, you would. There's gold right there.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, coming next year.
Okay,
then,
good.
right? Okay. Finally, what do you think the future of independent retail looks like?
When we went to buy our building, we found the building, made an offer on it, and we went looking for a mortgage. Well, we had a couple of income properties. We had fabulous credit. We had cash in the bank for the down payment and all that stuff. Everything was going swimmingly until they said, well, what are you going to put in there? I said, oh, we're going to do a store. And they said, out. Oh, independent retail fails at the fastest rate in America, second only to independent restaurants. Well, we have both.
Oh, yeah.
Gluttons right here.
So when you bought your building, but they said retail and you're out, and the
We had to
future of
figure out how to get
yeah.
a
future
complete.
of independent retail.
Oh,
if you're good
anyway.
at it, yeah.
We did manage to open the store, and I looked at that time. There were tons of bookstores, and then bookstores hit the skids. Bookstores are happening again. More and more people are opening bookstores. Turns out people want to go to a bookstore and look around. People still want to go to a store,
Yes.
shop, and have a good time doing it. Learn something, maybe talk to somebody who could tell you why this is brown and not black. Tell you how to use the soap, what the shampoo is like, how to arrange your house. You can't do any of that. You can buy on the web, but you can't really shop on the web.
True.
If you know you wear size 8 sneakers, no problem. If you know a brand and you want to fulfill that. But when you shop, want to try something new, good luck with that.
Right.
So I think the independent retailer has a future. You just have to do a really good job at it. But it's nothing new. You've always had to do a good job at it.
Exactly.
Except for a while in the 80s when people would just buy anything. They'd buy stuff they didn't like and they'd buy it in every color.
Really?
But those days are over.
Those are little different times.
Yeah.
But yeah. So good. Mary Liz, how can people learn more and connect with you?
LeonLulu.com. Or I don't know what's on MaryLizCurtin.com right now, so go right straight to LeonLulu.com and you'll see all about us.
Love it. Thank you.
And this will be posted on LeonLulu.com as soon as Crystal says it's okay.
Yes, it will. I love it. Thank you so much for
Thank you
taking
so much.
time and doing this. This is awesome. Everyone, remember that I'm rooting for your success. Have a great week ahead. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the Rooted in Retail podcast. It means the world to me to have you here. If you find value in this show and you listen on an iPhone, if you could leave a review on the Apple Podcast app, that would be amazing. And if you watch YouTube, if you're a YouTube subscriber, we film this. And so if you rather watch the show, you can also do that over on YouTube. Again, thank you for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode.